Hello, and welcome to another video from 3.5 Archive. Today we're going to be doing another review video, but rather than doing a Prestige class review like normal, we're going to be doing an adventure review instead. We're going to be looking at a short module called Something's Cooking, published for D&D 3rd edition back in 2001. It was originally released on the Wizards of the Coast website as a free adventure, but it is now available for 99 cents on DriveThruRPG. This is a short, cozy adventure that can be easily slotted into a larger campaign. It has a bit of a comedic tone to it, so be aware of that before you use it. But even in a more serious campaign, it can provide a nice, light-hearted interlude. Something's Cooking is designed for 4 second-level characters, and it centers around the cottage of 2 married wizards, Andolin and Gendru. The former is a wizard, the latter is actually just a master chef, and they live happily near the outskirts of town. Although when the adventure begins, one of their creations has turned against them, and they will need the player character's help for rescue. The adventure provides a few different hooks, whether rumors from suspicious locals, a request to seek out Gendru for his culinary services, or the character seeking out Andolin for her alchemical expertise. Alternatively, Andolin could be a character's mentor if there is a wizard in the party, or maybe they want her services in identifying some magic item. Given it's a second-level adventure, that would probably be the first magic item they've found. But either way, when the characters arrive at the cottage to visit Andolin and Gendru, nothing seems wrong at first. The adventure doesn't outright say it, but it's assumed that if the characters knock on the door, no one answers, as there's no one there. If they go inside, the first room, the sitting room, has a level 2 encounter with 3 animated objects, a book, a draw cord, and a poker. The poker, having hardness 10, is the deadliest threat. It only has 5 hit points, but needing to deal more than 10 damage to hurt it at all can be difficult for second level characters. You may wish to allow a grappling check and then a strength check to bend it. Or, as yours truly did when running this adventure as a teenager, simply forgetting about the hardness rules and having it die from 5 points of damage. These animated objects are Andolin's from her time dabbling in animation magic. The next room is the dining room, which has some minor treasure. The bedroom is where the next encounter happens. The characters open the door to find Gendru tied up in the bed with an imp perched nearby, ripping up books slowly and determinedly with a rather nasty expression on its face. The imp is a minion of a devil who is an enemy of Andolin's, and now it has captured her husband and is torturing him. If the party contains a female human wizard, according to the adventure, the imp will flee thinking that it is Andolin. This is a nice touch, a nice little detail. However, if the characters have to fight the imp, it can be a difficult encounter. Its poisonous sting, alongside its damage reduction and fast healing, can lead to a drawn-out fight. That was my experience with it, at least. Odds are that the player characters can handle it in the end, but this adventure definitely has been stretching the limits of challenge rating with its encounters thus far. If the characters rescue Gendru, he will tell them about the berserk rage of his latest creation, a calzone golem. Yes, you heard that correctly, a calzone golem. He will also tell them that it is resistant to fire. There are also some potions hidden in the room that the characters can take, although there may be consequences for that later. The nearby kitchen has a stove with a fire elemental living in it, which is currently hiding from the calzone golem, and will attack characters who approach the stove thinking that they are a threat. If a character speaks Ignan, they might be able to negotiate with it, but as the adventure says, fire elementals aren't very smart, and this will be pretty difficult to do. Odds are they're just going to have to fight and kill it. Finally, the pantry contains the calzone golem itself, Gendru's creation that went berserk. It's a 6-foot-tall creature made of pastry with reddish smears marring its well-baked crust. This description hints at the fact that the golem has lost 3 of its 33 hit points to the imp. Still, though, it's a tough fight and it's immune to most magic, but at least has a low armor class for a golem, or even a creature of its challenge rating. Oddly, the golem doesn't have fire immunity explicitly, but is listed under the magic immunity. This is a bit ambiguous when it comes to how to handle normal or alchemical fire, but that's up to the dungeon master to adjudicate. It can also exhale a small stinking cloud effect to nauseate a particularly pesky character, but it's a smaller area than the spell itself, so it's not a particularly punishing effect. At challenge rating 3, it's the lowest CR golem out there, but that makes sense given what it's made out of. Once the calzone golem is destroyed, or perhaps during the battle if the characters are having trouble, Andolin teleports back to the cottage as she is a 9th level wizard. She will help them deal with the imp or calzone golem if they are losing. Such Deus Ex Machina can be a bit annoying and unsatisfying for players, but it's probably fine here given how much some of these encounters toe the line of being a little too challenging for level 2 characters who don't have quite as much tolerance with how much they can stray from their challenge rating when it comes to what they can fight. And the DM can always just not use this particular part of the adventure if they don't like it. As a reward for rescuing him, Gendru will prepare the characters a feast, and Andolin will teach a player character one spell as a reward, as well as letting them keep the potions they found. That said, the adventure says that any further looting of the house will be met with demands that they return the items, and the characters being chased out. So it is important for the characters to remember that they are in someone's house as they explore this quote-unquote dungeon. The adventure provides stats for the Calzone Golem, of course, and for Andolin as a level 9 wizard, and Gendru as a level 5 expert. It also includes instructions for creating a Calzone Golem, should your player characters wish to pursue such a thing. The adventure doesn't provide a map, but the descriptions do say which rooms have doors connecting them, so it's not really necessary, and it allows you to make the cottage as large or small as required to fit your party and provide for satisfying combat encounters. This is actually a nice approach for a adventure such as this, for a dungeon such as this, where it's not really about the geometry of it so much as it is about the few rooms and the character of the encounters within. This is a short adventure, a bit whimsical, fitting for a one-shot or a side quest. It stands to earn the characters a powerful NPC ally. It's good for when one player can't make it but you still want to play D&D. The entire adventure should be finished in a single adventuring day and probably within a single evening of role-playing. If you have multiple groups you play with, there is no reason why you can't use it once with each of them, although it doesn't have much replay value with the same people, however. Most of the fun of it comes from the novelty of the Calzone Golem and its reveal. Once that gag has been had, there's not a whole lot here that stands out. It is a competently made short adventure and a very charming one. It's very versatile, and again, it's easy to slot into any campaign in any world. At a mere 5 pages, you can easily read it while waiting for everyone to arrive for the session, and it's a good one to have in your arsenal for when you need a short one-session adventure for second-level characters. Finally, one bit of trivia. This adventure's chief writer was Andy Collins. Another designer working on D&D 3.5 was Gwendolyn F.M. Kestrel. Whether Andolin and Gendru were meant to be a portmanteau of each of their names is unclear, but it's hard to think of where else they would have come from. Given the long, rich history of character names coming from corruptions, reversals, or anagrams of their authors' names, such as the many with Gary Gygax and Jim Ward and the like, this is quite fitting for a D&D adventure, and it's nice to see that sort of tradition continuing. At least it was until 2001. Overall, I would give Something's Cooking 4.5 stars out of 5. The worst that can be said about this adventure is that it is a little bit too busy. The animated objects and the fire elemental are fitting lead-up encounters for the Calzone Golem, but the imp perhaps seems like a bit much, even if it is well explained as taking advantage of the mayhem that the golem caused to wreak its revenge. The adventure is left open-ended enough to invite further adventures, such as the party being sent to deal with the imp's master, which is mentioned as another devil named Woganpuck. And of course, Andolin can certainly be a good patron to the characters later on, giving them missions or tips on where to find various magic items that they're seeking. So overall, this is a great adventure. It's definitely worth having in your reserve for when you need it, whenever you want to use it, and it really stands out from the rest of the free D&D 3.5 adventures as just having a particular charm to it and a very unique monster that's quite memorable. So that will be about it for our first adventure review. A great little adventure and possibly the best of the 3.5 published adventures, even though this is technically for 3.0, and you can tell that from the publication date and from the missing base attack bonus in the monster stat blocks. But at least among the free ones put out by Wizards of the Coast, this one's one of the best, if not the best. It's a shame that it is no longer free now, but seek and ye shall find. And in the meantime, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and so on. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time here on 3.5 Archive.